Hi, it's Marek from Tryb Solo, and today I'd like to talk about Maquis, a single-player game from Side Room Games. Thanks for sending it for review. And Maquis is a game about the French resistance during World War II, and your task will be to perform different missions that will sabotage Nazis' plans. This is basically a worker placement game, where you will have your resistance workers. You will send them to different locations in the city and gain resources. You will spend resources and you will try to complete 2 missions each time you play this game. And as I said, this is a solo only game. Let me show you how the game plays, and then I will tell you what I think about Maquis. This is Maquis prepared for play. The main area here is the game board of a French city with different locations, and you will move your resistance workers around the locations to perform different tasks. In each game you will have to complete 2 different missions. The missions are randomly taken from a whole stack of missions. The 2 here are the introductory missions that are suggested in the rulebook to start the game with, but you have many more missions here. They have different difficulty level. You have missions with 1 star, you have missions with 2 stars, and even missions with 3 stars. So when you get familiar with the game and you want more variety and more challenge, you can mix and match these missions, like play only 1-star missions or 2-star missions, or 1 3-star mission and 1 2-star missions. However you like. We have a lot of different missions, and all the missions, they require you to do different things in the game. Sometimes to sabotage something or blow up something. It depends on the missions. But we have 2 missions here. The officer's mention mission tells us to write anti-fascist graffiti all over the town in 3 locations, and the Milice parade day requires us to get a weapon and deliver it to Rue Barada on a specific day. But as I said, different missions require to do different things. Here you have your 3 resistance workers, and each round, each day, because you have a day tracker here, each day you will place your workers in different locations, and each location has got a icon that tells you what your worker can do. Usually it will be getting different resources like medicine or intel or food, explosives, and money. Sometimes you will have to pay different resources to get something else, but you start with 3 workers, and then in cafe you will be able to recruit 2 additional workers. Apart from the missions and the game board, you have this card where you track your morale. You start with here with 6, and the red number tells you how many milice will be on patrol each day. So here it tells you that 3 milice will be patrolling the area. The lower the morale, the more milice will be patrolling the city. But it always you have to calculate how many workers you have on the board, and then you take this red number, and the higher number is the number of milice patrolling the town. So if you have more workers, you can perform more things, but you will have more milice that can arrest your resistance workers. Here you have a cool small help sheet with different icons. And this is the patrol deck, and the patrol deck tells you where you will place milice each turn. Because in this game, each day, you will place a worker in an area somewhere in the town, and then you will take the top card from this deck, and this card will show you where to put milice in which location. The most important thing is that after you place all your workers and after you place all milice tokens on the board, you will perform actions, and your workers, they need to have a path back to the safe house. Sometimes you see there are bridges or different locations, and if the milice will block the path to your safe house when your worker is somewhere in the city, and the worker will not be able to go back to the safe house. He will be arrested and removed from the game, and you will lose this worker forever. And you need workers to perform different tasks and to complete missions. So this is always a risk. You never know which card will be here. The more workers you have, the more milices in the city, and the lower morale you have, the more milices in the city. Sometimes there is also this track that shows soldiers. You start with 0, because when you get weapon, you will be able to kill a milice person on your way back to the safe house. But each time you do it, in the future round, one milice will be replaced with one soldier, and soldier cannot be killed. So, you know, killing milice is not always the best solution. Okay, so what else do we have here? We have different, as I said, different resources that you will be able to require, and you also need to require to perform different things. In some locations, like Radio A and Radio B, you will be able to get airdrop, and airdrop will appear in the next day on one of the fields, and you can require request for money or weapon or food. Some rooms, like here, you have spare room 1, 2 and 3. These locations, when you pay 2 money, will allow you to build different rooms, and the rooms you have here, you have 9 different rooms that you will be able to, you can say, construct when you pay money. And you have fixer, propagandist, smuggler. They do different things. Sometimes they are required to perform specific missions. For example, forger can allow you to create a fake ID, and fake ID is another way to avoid milice when your workers go back to safe house. Instead of killing them, if you have a fake ID, you can discard fake ID and safely go back to the safe house. So how the game plays? Let's say it's my first day and I want to place my worker at the doctor. So I place my worker here. Now I take the top card from the deck and it says Radio B. I take one milice and place it at Radio B. You have 3 locations, because sometimes if the location here is already occupied either by your worker or by another milice, you place the milice in the second location, and the second location is also occupied, you place it in the third location, and if third location is also occupied, then the milice will try to arrest one of your workers, and if your worker is at Radio B or grocer or black market here, the worker will be arrested and removed from the game. So Radio B. Now I would like to, for example, go to the grocer to get some food, and I place my one milice. Radio B is already occupied, it's Rue Barada, so I will place milice here. And my third worker, for example, I will like to place at cafe. Okay, sorry, I'm placing the wrong workers. The 2 ones are not, I don't have them yet. So my third worker will be at cafe, because I want to spend the food that I got at grocer to recruit one additional worker. So I take the third card, it says Radio A, and the milice is here. So now I can take all the actions, and let's say I will start with grocer. I get one food, he goes back here. Now I can spend the food here to recruit another worker, so the food is gone, and I can use this worker at the doctor to get one medicine that I can spend in the future, for example, to raise the morale or to do some other things. And the turn ends. Now is the upkeep phase. You remove all the soldiers from the board. You progress day tracker by 1, and the game continues. Some days have this orange background, and it means that when the cube goes to this day, you will lower your morale by 1. Also, when you kill one of the milice and replace it with soldier, your morale also gets -1. And the game ends when all your workers are arrested, or morale goes to 0, or the day tracker goes to the last space that says end, and you are not able to complete your missions. And how can you, for example, arrest workers? For example, let's say that I was at the doctor and the grocer and the cafe, but let's say that police was here and, for example, here at black market. If a situation like this would happen, this worker can go back to the safe house, this can go back to the safe house as well, but this one cannot, because this location is occupied by the Milice, and the location here as well. So there is no route to the safe house, and this worker will be arrested and removed from the game. But for example, here's a safe house, an additional safe house that can be built in the safe room, spare room here, for example. And if you build a safe house here, your workers, they will not have to go back to the safe house at the bottom of the board, but they will be able to stay at the safe house in this part of the city. So it gives you a lot of possibilities and a lot of strategy, but there is also some luck involved, because you never know what patrol cards you will get. If you successfully complete the 2 missions that you have here, each mission tells you exactly what you have to do, you will win the game. And this is how you play Maquis. Maquis is a very cool game. Maybe cool is not the right word, because it's a game about basically World War II, but it's a very clever game. The rules are extremely simple, because you have your workers and you have to place one of your workers in a location in the city, then you will place one milice or soldier, then your worker, then the soldier, and so on and so on. After all your workers are placed on the board, you perform each location's action. Basically, it's taking a resource or spending a resource to gain something, and that's it. Sometimes your workers can be arrested, hopefully not, and you try to complete the missions. There are different missions, as you have seen. Some missions are easier to finish, some are more complicated, but it's a very clever game, because the theme really goes together with the action that you perform, because you can spend food or medicines to raise your morale, but if you spend food or medicine on money, you will lose morale, but you will get money to get weapons. If you kill a milice officer, you will be able to get back to your safe house, but at the same time the milice will be replaced with soldier and you will lose morale again. You have the day tracker and you have to hurry. The longer you play, the lower morale you will get. It's very clever. The actions and the things that happen in this game are very well connected with the theme. You can get some airdrop, but the things that you will get from airdrop will be available the following day, not at the same day. It's really clever. The rules are very simple, as I said, but the game is really, you have to plan a lot. The more workers you have, the more milice and soldiers will be on the board. So sometimes it's not really good to have more workers, but with more workers you can perform more things. So it's very clever. The missions are varied. Sometimes you have to blow up things, sometimes you have to make a graffiti or deliver a weapon. The artwork is really cool. This game was available as a print and play game, from what I know. This is the box edition released by Sidrum Games. It has got a really cool dual layered board where you have place to put the day tracker, and you have a place for the additional rooms and buildings that you can build during the game. You have nice cards and box and everything, but I think that this game is still available as a print and play edition on Board Game Geek. It's a small box. The game takes, the box says 30 minutes, I think 20-30 minutes it's the maximum. It's not really easy to win because there's some luck involved, because getting the patrol cards, when you get the patrol cards, reveal them, you never know where the patrol will be located. So sometimes it's a thing of luck, But it also goes well with the theme, because, you know, as a Maquis resistance, I think you was never sure if the mission or sabotage things that you were planning will happen or not, if you will be successful or not. So it really makes a lot of sense. But of course, this is a game about, you know, war and resistance, so you have to like this theme in a way to play it. It's not a chill out game. I mean, the rules are simple, but the topic of this game is you know, quite heavy when you think about it, about the people trying to survive and sabotage Nazis you know, occupation. So you need to like this type of game to enjoy it. But if you do, it's a very clever and well designed worker placement game for a solo player only. Click the like button if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, visit me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. I will leave links in the description of this video and link to Maquis on Side Room Games website. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye bye.